For several hours, I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which from inside and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heaven. As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness too, and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time. That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue. On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind, so slight and evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal. All day I forged steadily westward, guided by a faraway hummock, which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert. That night I encamped, and on the following day still traveled towards the hummock. Saw that object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it. By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mount, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance, an intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
Imagine walking around and just smell like fish carcasses.
Fish,
No, rotting fish.
rotting
No,
fish.
just I can take just fish. A rotting fish, I never got. It's like
If
that. It's insane.
I think I think rotting anything is maddening.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like rotting anything is maddening, but it's rotting fish. Rotting fish. Uh,
and and it's like dry. Imagine how intense the smell would be.
my question is: did is this guy going inland or is this going outland? From what I see in what I read, I think this guy is going inland, right?
Probably.
Why would you do that?
I mean,
I mean, if
he
you
just
are suddenly stranded somewhere, right? I think the smartest way to do if you have a boat is travel outland.
I think his idea is to find the, let's say, higher fewy ground just to assess where should he go.
True, true. Yes, you probably that's a. I will not survive in the wilderness. You can tell. I will die so fast. I would die so fast, my dude.
And your survival skill has -3
Yeah, that happened
with disadvantage.
with disadvantage. Yeah, right. You can reach the next
All
paragraph
right.
again. Mhm.
I now know why my dreams were so wild that night. But ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the east plain, I was awake all perspiration, determined to sleep no more. Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again, and in the glow of the moon, I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day. Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me lethargy indeed. I now felt quite able to perform the ascent, which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Okay, we are not survivalists. Which one would you? Which one do you prefer? To go at night or go at the at the afternoon where the sun is on top of you?
I think it depends on where you stranded.
Yes.
I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not like recommend. Let's say you're stranded in a, let's say, wilderness. Wilderness. It's not recommended travel by night because so many nocturnal predator out there.
True, true, true. But the context is that
but
is
in this, yeah, but in this context, he's stranded on somewhere
I mean, there's
As far as
literally
you know,
that's why I see no. There's literally no shape, right?
yeah. That's why you think, oh, I should have just traveled by night.
Man, this guy is an arm. Wait, this guy is an arm. It's a spot. It's a soldier. You should have known better. It's part of the navy.
For the Navy, you should have think this before.
Yeah, he's in the navy. You should have known better.
Oh my god. All
I'm gonna
right.
read the next paragraph.
All
I
right.
have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a sort of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down at the other side into the unmeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illuminate. I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night. Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realm of darkness.
All right. So basically, oh, I should have traveled by night. It doesn't make me tired. And then he realized I cannot see anything.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I realized like there is a cliff, and it's so dark I cannot see anything at the night. This is what I think. Like this is what I actually think. He should just go to the sea, right?
Yeah, but he also don't know where the sea is.
I mean, he could just if your boat is stranded and you are stranded. I in my brain is just go the opposite direction of where you're lying. If, for example, if you're lying to the north, right, that means going to the south is going to back to the sea.
It could work in a normal place.
In normal place, yes, true. This is not normal place.
This is not normal place.
Mhm. Okay, I'm just gonna keep on reading. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined. Ledges and outcropping of rock afforded fairly easy foothold for a descent, whereas after a drop of a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual. Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rock and stood on the gentler slope beneath, gazing into the Stygian's deeps. There is no light had yet penetrated. Stygian refer to the river Styx in a dark and gloomy region of the underworld. That's what the annotation said. I mean, yeah. So it's just a very dark
Well,
place, I guess.
it's a very dark place. When I read the word Station, I come across a picture of a giant reptile wolf.
Yeah, you don't have to describe it yet. I think people know Monster Hunter at this point. You got them nerd. Monster Hunter is a great game. Played it.
Monster Hunter is a great game. Play it.
Mhm. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me. An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon. That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself, but I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature. A closer scrutiny filled me with a sensation I cannot express, for despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well shaped monolith, whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of a living and thinking creatures. So he sees something. It's the most scariest thing. It's like finding an architectural thing or something man-made.
And
Yeah, it's just so
in the
scary
middle
that
of
that concept.
nowhere.
Yeah, in the middle of a nowhere, in the middle of like no, not even nowhere, in the middle of a place that presumably doesn't have any human activity.
Let alone something alive.
Yeah, that scares me. It's like, oh my god, what happened here?
Who's who's here with me?
Who
Or
built this?
who's been here?
Who's been here and built this?